I'm mature. I'm like, listen, I made a mistake. But now you see the talent. You see the cream rise to the top. Very, very happy for him. Very happy for him.
Cris Carter, one of Shedeur Sanders' harshest critics, has thrown in the towel. This Hall of Fame legend is doing a complete 180 on everything he previously said, and has actually apologized to Shedeur Sanders following Cleveland's announcement about their 2020. This development is mind-blowing, and we're covering every angle. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and let's jump into this unbelievable story. Cris Carter just became another name on the ever-expanding roster of Shedeur Sanders skeptics who are now swallowing their pride. When Cleveland dropped the bombshell about Shedeur being their franchise quarterback for 2026, Carter delivered what could be the most jaw-dropping about-face in recent memory. Remember, this is the exact same Cris Carter who dedicated months to dismantling Shedeur's abilities, challenging his dedication, and claiming that Deion Sanders had damaged his son's future by being overprotective. Today, he's issuing apologies, confessing his mistakes, and friends, this represents just the start of what's turning into a widespread trend across sports commentary. Carter's reversal didn't end with a simple sorry. He pushed further, stating that since Cleveland has locked in Shedeur as their starting signal caller, they should immediately shop Dillon Gabriel. Carter believes they should accept whatever trade value they can get for Gabriel, because according to him, Dillon won't move the needle in this league anymore. We're talking about a total transformation in perspective.
I'm looking to trade Dillon Gabriel.
Okay.
Immediately.
To grasp just how earth-shattering this turnaround really is, we have to go back and examine Carter's previous statements from just months earlier. This wasn't some gentle critique or minor doubt. Carter launched a full assault on both Shedeur and his legendary father, Deion Sanders. Carter consistently argued that Deion had babied Shedeur, claiming he'd hurt his son's development by shielding him excessively and preventing him from experiencing genuine challenges. He doubted whether Shedeur possessed the psychological fortitude needed for professional success. But get this, Carter actually stated that Shedeur Sanders belonged in the 5th round of the draft, the 5th round. That reveals just how low his opinion was of this young quarterback's potential.
And he likes guys to be a little more open before he lets it go. And he doesn't have a big-time arm. He's not a big guy. He's not overly athletic. So his measurables are not.
Carter argued that Shedeur's Colorado performance was overrated, predicting he'd crumble against NFL defensive schemes and warning teams they'd regret wasting a premium draft selection on him. He created this narrative of a quarterback built on publicity rather than ability, someone coasting on his father's reputation instead of earning recognition through personal achievement. The attacks were constant and deeply personal. Carter wasn't just critiquing Shedeur's throwing power or field vision. He targeted his integrity, his background, and his NFL readiness. The commentary was vicious, generating controversy consistently. Jump to the present, and Cris Carter is completely reversing course. He's now proclaiming that Shedeur Sanders possesses the skills to lead an NFL offense. Carter's celebrating his growth, his offensive leadership, and his influence on Cleveland's culture. He's currently stating that Shedeur has demonstrated his worth this season and deserves recognition as Cleveland's cornerstone quarterback.
I'm mature. I'm like, listen, I made a mistake.
So what shifted everything? Easy. Shedeur stepped up and dominated. He demonstrated to everyone precisely what he brings when given his shot. Game film reveals the truth, and even the toughest doubters can't argue with what they're witnessing during games. Carter's apology recognizes that he misjudged Shedeur's skills, his commitment, and his capacity to transfer college dominance to the pros. He's confessing that he allowed his assumptions about Deion's coaching approach to distort his evaluation of Shedeur's genuine quarterback talent. Let's keep it honest. This apology situation is going to continue for quite some time. This won't disappear quickly, since Carter isn't the only major personality who's been forced to backtrack on Shedeur Sanders. Leading the apology parade was Rex Ryan. You remember Rex's comments? He completely destroyed Shedeur Sanders, labeling him an entitled brat who'd never succeed in the NFL. Rex attacked every aspect of Shedeur's personality and his professional preparation.
Starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way.
But then reality hit. Shedeur began making his mark. He began displaying moments of excellence that demanded attention. Suddenly, Rex Ryan withdrew his statements and announced he'd been completely wrong. The identical person who branded Shedeur privileged and arrogant was suddenly celebrating his leadership and strategic understanding. It represented a total contradiction.
So much ability that I want to see him out there like anybody else.
Yeah.
And why the hell he's not out there?
This situation is beyond comprehension. It's completely illogical. Next, we have Tony Grossi. Listen, Tony Grossi probably delivered the most unfair treatment of anyone. This individual continuously spread falsehoods about Shedeur Sanders during training sessions, organized team activities, and exhibition games. He repeatedly published damaging stories, challenging Shedeur's practice performance, and implying that Cleveland had chosen poorly. Grossi even attacked Shedeur regarding an injury, insinuating he was weak and couldn't meet the NFL's physical requirements. The treatment was harsh. It crossed the line, and it was completely inaccurate. But currently, Grossi has adjusted his position too. After witnessing the obvious gap between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, even Grossi was forced to acknowledge that Shedeur represents Cleveland's quarterback solution.
So if those plays are intercepted, it's a different game altogether, and we're calling for Shedeur Sanders.
Don't overlook Mary Kay Cabot, who repeatedly had to modify her position because Shedeur continuously silenced his critics. Each time she published doubts about his capabilities, Shedeur would deliver another impressive showing. Eventually, she had no option but to recognize his abilities. So what's motivating all these complete reversals? Why are these influential critics suddenly shifting their opinions on Shedeur Sanders?
That there's something special there, and that when you surround him with a really good supporting cast and a good offensive line, that we'll even see more of that in the coming years.
The explanation is straightforward: skill prevails, results count, and Shedeur has demonstrated both consistently. These commentators are reversing course because they recognize Shedeur Sanders has what it takes to lead Cleveland, and they refuse to end up on the losing side when he achieves stardom. Following Cleveland's decision to dismiss Kevin Stefanski and declare Shedeur their focus for the upcoming season, the direction became obvious. This franchise is constructing their future around Shedeur Sanders, and everyone who questioned him is now rushing to correct their previous opinions. Reputation plays a major role here. When you're providing commentary as a media figure or former athlete, being wrong repeatedly hurts your standing. Carter, Ryan, Grossi, and Cabot all understand that refusing to acknowledge Shedeur's abilities would expose them as out of touch, so they're adjusting their narrative and confessing their errors before it becomes too obvious. For Shedeur Sanders, this surge of apologies and opinion changes must feel incredibly satisfying. Picture facing criticism, doubt, and disrespect from football media's biggest personalities, then proving each one of them completely mistaken. That's precisely what Shedeur accomplished. But here's what sets Shedeur apart. He's managed this entire situation with remarkable poise and class. He avoided responding to critics online. He didn't respond with defensive statements or allow the negativity to impact his game. He just focused on improvement, stayed dedicated, and allowed his performance to speak volumes. Today, he's positioned where the same voices who projected him as a late-round pick are recognizing him as a franchise cornerstone. The identical analysts who predicted he'd fail professionally are now evaluating his Pro Bowl potential. It's total validation of everything Shedeur and his support system knew about his talent level, so that's the complete picture, everyone. Cris Carter has officially joined Rex Ryan, Tony Grossi, Mary Kay Cabot, and numerous others on the Shedeur Sanders Redemption Express. What began as one of the most heavily criticized quarterback prospects in years has evolved into one of the NFL's most promising young talent. Cleveland has committed their future. They're centering their organization around Shedeur Sanders for 2026 and the years ahead, and those critics who dismissed him, they're acknowledging their mistakes individually, confessing they were mistaken, and recognizing what we understood from the beginning. Shedeur Sanders is legitimate. This narrative is nowhere near finished. As Shedeur keeps developing and maturing as Cleveland's franchise leader, we'll witness even more people revising their past statements. The apology parade is gaining momentum, and I'm enjoying every moment. What's your take on Cris Carter's apology? Are you willing to accept, or should these commentators face consequences for their harsh criticism? Share your opinions in the comments section. If this video was valuable to you, please like, subscribe, and activate notifications so you won't miss future content. Until we meet again, stay focused, and let's keep watching Shedeur silence his doubter.